Namaskara, good morning everyone. Pleasure to be here. Wow, the pressure is on now. What is the big thing that I'm here to talk about? So I'm the Science and Technology Consul General of Switzerland. I lead an organization called Swissnex, which I like to say is a diplomatic anomaly. It's not your traditional diplomatic representation, but it's one of 6 that Switzerland has around the world in hotspots that are at the frontiers of science and technology. And we have been here in Bengaluru since 2010. And I would say the first decade or so of our existence, the key word that marked what we stand for is internationalization. How do we help Swiss startups internationalize? How do we help Swiss researchers in academia have the right collaborations in India? And so on and so forth. And with the Indo-Swiss Innovation Platform, we're trying to enter the next phase of our existence. And I think internationalization alone is no longer enough. We need more because the challenges that we face know no boundaries, they know no borders, they are collective, and we have to collaborate and work together to address them. So we're trying to move from a world of internationalization only to a world of transformation, where we strive to accelerate positive transformations at the frontiers of knowledge, and we do this with the Indo-Swiss Innovation Platform. Now, launching a platform needs a good narrative. Here you have a visual identity. This visual identity is actually a story of India and Switzerland coming together. You may see in the background something akin to the CERN's Large Hadron Collider, which is a Swiss-based, but also in France, platform for physicists to collaborate around the world. And you see a big 0 overimposed, which is, of course, an Indian innovation and an Indian contribution to our collective knowledge that dates many centuries back, but it's also a nudge to India's pivotal role in the digital transformation that we are currently facing. Now, in the innovation platform, we have 3 focus areas around which we are going to work on, roughly exemplified by these SDGs, but they're not just exclusive to these SDGs. We're working in health, we're working in sustainability, and in digital transformation. And basically, we want to achieve a place where, when we look at how Switzerland and India collaborate, it is no longer just bottom-up. In Switzerland, we love to be bottom-up. We often love this to a fault, meaning that we allow always the stakeholder that is directly interested in something to have a say, which is a good thing. But we also need to become a little bit more top-down. We need to marry a bottom-up approach with a top-down approach, because the nature and the magnitude of the challenges that we face is just such that we need this dual approach, which as of now was lacking. I'm going to give you an example of what exactly we mean by this through the launch of the platform, which happened just a few weeks ago on October 30th on the NCBS campus during a 3-day Indo-Swiss antimicrobial resistance innovation dialogue. So in the field of health, AMR is of course one of the pressing challenges that we face that is tied to a lot of the agriculture conversations that we've heard earlier this morning. There's a big component in animal husbandry. There's of course a component in human health. And it's a complex, interdependent challenge. Now, we've had for 3 days 52 delegates from Switzerland and India, from academia, from industry, from startups, from the policy space, spend 3 days in a workshop. And because we don't want this to be a standalone activity, we have lobbied the funding agencies. So on the Swiss side, the Swiss National Science Foundation; on the Indian side, the Department of Science and Technology and the Indian Council for Medical Science and Research, to align the next funding call of the Indo-Swiss Joint Research Program, which is the joint funding instrument, on the theme of One Health, so that we, when we pick priorities, when we launch programs, have a way to stack them, so that we have a way that one conversation leads to a funding instrument that you can apply to, leads to perhaps an incubation process. And we're at the same time in conversation with more agencies. On the Swiss side, it's Inno-Swiss, the Innovation Promotion Agency, and on the in the Indian side, it's the Science and Technology Research Board, to create new instruments for industry, for startups and SMEs in particular, to work together in the fields of health sustainability and digital transformation. I also want to give a few examples of successful collaborations that have happened and ones that are currently ongoing to frame this. And I think this one is really the biggest one that I can speak of. LC3, limestone calcium clay cement. This is a new recipe for cement that took over a decade to develop, and it was developed over 12 years of research funded by the Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation. It was a partnership between EPFL in Switzerland, the Indian Institute of Technology in Madras, the Indian Institute of Technology in Delhi, and a counterpart in Cuba. They have spent 3 phases of 4 years each doing sponsored research to develop this new formula. And the formula was, has gone live. The results were published at the end of last year and have now been adopted as of June this year by the Indian Cement Board. So this recipe emits up to 40% less CO2 in order to be produced. The plants have to do minimal adjustments to transition to this new cement formula, and the cost of producing it is either equal or lower. So it's a win on all fronts, and now the challenge is to persuade all the cement manufacturers to upgrade to this new formula and to start building with this cement. So really this is one of the single biggest contributions that has been made today, if adopted at a global scale, to really address this in the construction sector, which is of course a booming one, particularly in India. So that's not the only example that I have in the construction center. This is, you'll see Oxa blocks in the little image. These are blocks of cement-free construction material that was developed by Oxara. This is an ETH spin-off who just a year ago was on stage at the Bangalore Tech Summit as part of a program that we run called Academia Industry Training. So this is a market discovery for Swiss startups, and they have had the fastest market discovery that we have witnessed in our experience, and they're now looking to enter the Indian market with this cement-free block that is using reusing construction materials after you demolish a site, and you press them into these blocks, and they have various valuable properties other than being, of course, very sustainable. Another example is Irmos, which is a startup that, again, is working to enter the Indian market, and they have sensors that are very important in looking at infrastructure, whether it's building or bridges. What is the stability and the current health status of the built environment? They're also looking to enter the Indian market, and they're working with us in one of their camps right now. And then lastly, these are just a few of the examples of what we're trying to achieve. The way the platform works, it's quite simple. We are onboarding members, so we are open to members not just from India and Switzerland, but from any place. There is no financial commitment to join the platform. The only commitment that is required is that when there is an activity that is either in health, sustainability, or digital transformation that speaks to the work that your organization is doing, that you be an active part in that. And then we are working to create the further instruments for collaboration, the further funding instruments, the further capabilities to take projects forward, so that, again, we can work in a way that is not just bottom up, but also a little bit top down, and we can have the greatest impact by combining these two approaches. And with that, and 20 seconds to go, I yield the floor back.